back. So, actor, producer, stuntman Tom Cruise went on a crazy rant on the set of Mission Impossible 7, and I think he was 100% right. So let's go through it. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
All right, so I originally wanted to talk about, there's a whole bunch of interesting stuff here. And I don't mean just Tom Cruise. There's a whole bunch of interesting stuff happening in the film business recently. There's a bunch of fun news. Actors, last week I talked a lot about the move, HBO Max's move of streaming movies at the same time that they were going to be released in theaters. And so I talked a lot about that. And there's updates now. Directors, big-time directors are coming out, speaking out against it. Studios are speaking out against it. And so I want to get into that. Unfortunately, I'm kind of short on time because I kind of have to keep working on the show awards. I'm not done yet. It's a thing. For those of you who don't know, I work for a radio station, and tomorrow we have a bit called the show's year-end awards, and I'm the one who does it. So I kind of have to keep working on that. So I'm just gonna keep it to Tom Cruise today. Tomorrow I'll go into the other stuff, because I find it both fascinating and extremely important, at least for the industry. And if you care about the industry, maybe you'll find it interesting. I don't know. But before I get into it, let me just give you a quick reminder that any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and at Super Dario World. Also streaming on YouTube and on Twitch at Super Dario World. If you want to check out this video later, because the visuals help out, or if you just want to see me make weird faces, you can. I'm sorry I did that. I'm really sorry I did that. You can find that on YouTube at Super Dario World. The video loads by itself, and I think it should be up by tomorrow morning. So there you go. There you go. Let's get into it. So we're going to be talking about Tommy C. Big time actor. Some might say an A-lister. Some might say maybe the biggest star on the planet. Who knows? It depends on which time, I guess. But definitely, probably the biggest action star. Or not maybe of all time. Yeah, I think so. At least who's still working. I mean, he's had a pretty long career, and it's a pretty long career of a lot of successes. So yeah, sure, why not? I'll give him the title. So I need to point one thing out to be clear about Tommy C here. It is possible for the man to be totally and completely insane, and also to be totally and completely right here. So those two things don't have to be mutually exclusive. You can be a crazy person, and you could also be 100% right. So here's basically the news. Tom Cruise, for those of you who don't know, he's an actor, and he is the star of the Mission Impossible franchise. Kind of a big franchise. If you missed it, I mean, I don't know what to say. Honestly, I don't know how to explain it. It's an action movie. It's an action franchise. They were on the set of Mission Impossible 7, and Tom Cruise lost his shit when a couple of employees were breaking COVID protocol. Now, I've had the pleasure of dealing with people who go crazy over COVID, because one of my 3 jobs involves working in a restaurant. And so at the restaurant, I've had the pleasure of dealing with what I call the extreme maskers. So I know there's the anti-maskers and there's the extreme maskers. I haven't really had to deal honestly, I haven't really had to deal with any anti-maskers. I've dealt with the extreme maskers a lot. And that's the people who go batshit crazy if you're not wearing a mask, or if another employee's not wearing a mask. And the perfect example is where I work. Our kitchen is not exactly open, but it's got a big window so you can see the cooks doing stuff. It's a pizza place, so you can see them putting the pizza in the oven. And people have lost their shit because the cooks aren't wearing masks. And now it's one cook by themselves in a big ass kitchen, and they're working in front of an oven. Now, our explanation to this person is that they are working in front of a 600-degree oven. If they wear a mask, they could pass out, and if they pass out there and fall, they could hit their head and die. Or, they can fall into the oven and burn themselves seriously. So it's honestly, it's a safety issue, and they're not really required to. None of the regulations said that they had to do it. So that's what we always said. It's a bigger risk for their health for them to wear the mask. And so people sometimes just lose their shits and leave over it. So, all right. I mean, fine. It's your choice, I guess, but whatever. You don't have to be mean to me about it. So anyway, those are the kind of people that I've had to deal with. I've never actually dealt with the other side, and I'm kind of an idiot and sometimes forget to wear my mask anyway. So whatever. So regardless of how you feel about masks, or COVID or anything, I feel like there's something even bigger here. So I'll just play you the rant, and then I'll break it down. Not bit by bit, but I'll break it down for the most part. So let's just, all right. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it. I tested it out and it seemed to work. So here you go. And I'll make it even big here so you can even see the subtitles here. So here you go. This is Tom Cruise. It's kind of a long rant, so I will stop it at one point, because at one point he just kind of starts to lose it. And Eddie had a really good explanation. It's one of those moments when you're still mad and you want to keep yelling, but you don't know what to say anymore, and so you just keep yelling for yelling's sake. And I completely understand it. So here you go. This is Tom Cruise on the set of Mission Impossible 7 after somebody is breaking COVID regulations. Let me just check audio up. All right, here you go.
We are the gold standard. You're back here in Hollywood making movies right now because of us. Because they believe in us and what we're doing. I'm on the phone with every studio at night. Insurance companies. Producers. And they're looking at us and using us to make their movies. We are creating thousands of jobs, you I don't ever want to see it again. Ever. And if you don't do it, you're fired. And I see you do it again, you're gone. And anyone on this crew does it. That's it. And you too, and you too, and you. Don't you ever do it again. That's it. No apologies. You can tell it to the people that are losing their homes because our industry is shut down. It's not going to put food on their table or pay for their college education. That's what I sleep with every night. In the future of this industry. So I'm sorry, I'm beyond your apologies. I have told you, and now I want it. And if you don't do it, you're out. We are not shutting this movie down. Is it understood? If I see it again, you're gone. And so are you. So you're going to cost him his job. And I see it on the set, you're gone. And you're gone.
See, there's where he kind of starts to lose it, you know? Like, if you do it, he's fired. And if you do it, he's fired. And another dude's just standing there, and you're fucking fired too. So that's, it happens to people sometimes when you get upset and you just start yelling out for no reason. Now, there's one thing that really, really, really irritates me about this story. And I mean a lot. And that's that this audio got leaked. Now, there's one reason why I could kind of be okay with it, and that's if it was leaked on purpose by the marketing people or something. Like, if this is a stunt, all right, fine, I could accept it. But I hate the fact that somebody would tell on their boss that way. Listen, if you've never been on a film set, you kind of don't understand this, but imagine producing a film is very similar to opening opening a business. It's just going to be a limited business. So let's say you want to open up a McDonald's, you need to do a whole bunch of planning before. You need to find a building, you need to rent, you need to hire people, you need to build a structure, you need to build like a supply network and stuff like that. You need to do a whole bunch of stuff. A movie is exactly the same way, except it's going to be a limited thing. It's going to end. So a McDonald's, you want to keep it open forever, allegedly, supposedly. And a film is just going to be a limited thing, and then you move on to your next limit. So it's kind of like a small business in a way. Even if you deal with a lot of money, it's kind of like a small business. And you do that over and over again. So it needs a special type of crazy people to work on it. You need to see people who actually enjoy and being in high stress situation. Yeah, and people are very high strung. You're always against the clock. Always. There's never enough time for anything. You're always over budget. And you're dealing with people who are artistic in nature, who are pansies, and usually don't play well with each other sometimes, and they're oversensitive, and they're irritated, and they're not eating the way that they would at home, and they're not sleeping the way that they would at home. And again, it's the pressure, and you just feel it, and it mounts up on you. And I understand it perfectly. tensions get really high. People end up hating each other on film sets. And I mean hating each other. And I'm not talking about the big stars or the actors, because actors have the easiest job on set. I mean, I'm not saying it's easy to act. It's actually, if you have the skill for it, it's easy to you. It comes natural. It's a hard job. But on set, it's, let's say it's the comfiest. Is that fair? I think it's the comfiest job on set to be an actor. Everybody else is running around like crazy. So I've been on sets where one of the producers ended up hating the guts of the sound guy. I really did not understand why. And oh no, I'm sorry, it wasn't the sound guy. It was the gaffer. The completely different jobs. I'm sorry. Usually nobody messes with the sound guy because the sound guy's just on the side. By the way, the sound guy knows absolutely everything that happens on set because they're usually connected to a boom mic and they can just hear everything. So it's fun. Anyway, so tensions run high is my point. I remember there's a story that I love about a gaffer, who was very upset because he kept finding an Apple box in his work area. Now, an Apple box, for those of you who don't know, or maybe it wasn't even an Apple box, it was just maybe like a wooden box. The point is, by the way, an Apple box is a wooden box, but it's used on film for when you want to elevate stuff. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So he kept finding a wooden box and it was in his way, and he didn't know who kept moving it. And at one point he just lost his shit, like, who keeps moving this fucking box? And nobody answered, so he just grabbed it, and he didn't smash it on the ground. He pulled out a hammer and started destroying the thing, just going ham on the thing, like, fuck! And then just stormed off. And then everybody, of course, laughed and lost their shit because it was fucking hysterical. The dude lost his shit over a box. Anyway, point is, tensions run high. Very, very high. Like I said, short time to work on things, under budget, a lot of pressure, and so it's not. I'm not surprised that somebody loses their shit on set. In fact, I think it's stranger that somebody doesn't lose their shit on set. Honestly, I think it's out of all the professional and student stuff that I've been on, I think it's the odd one out is the one that nobody lost their shit. So, I mean, so like my point is it happens. And so that's how this industry works. In fact, if you ever worked in a kitchen, sometimes like it's like a really, really, really busy kitchen, sometimes cooks lose their shit to it. It's just like any other job. When you're against the clock, people lose their shit. It happens. Afterwards is how you deal with it. And usually what happens when somebody loses their shit like that, if they don't give a fuck, they don't give a fuck. They'll just keep walking, and you just have to move on with your life. Sometimes your boss yells at you. It happens. But usually, if you have a good boss, they'll be like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I lost my cool," but and then just they reiterate the point. This is important. I want us everybody keep working in the same direction. We're on the same team. Sorry if I lost it with you. I'm sorry if I yelled at you in public, but this is important, and that's the one thing that I want to remain from this. I appreciate the work you do and blah blah. If you're actually doing a good job, anyway. So it depends. Now, honestly, after hearing this rant, I would love to work for Tom Cruise. I would love it because this type of boss, the one that goes like crazy over rules, is predictable. And I prefer working with people who are predictable. It's like, these are their rules. All I have to do is follow them, and I'm on the good side. All right, cool. It's the people who are kind of flaky or who are sometimes cool that I have a lot more issues with because I'm the type of person who likes to test his boundaries. You know, it's like, how far can I push this? And how far can I push that? And that's usually when you end up getting in trouble. So if you know somebody who, from the beginning, is like, these are the rules, this is the way that we're following everything, it's a lot easier to understand. Also, to me, his rant seemed totally reasonable for many stuff. The most important thing that he said here is the very first phrase that he says. We are the gold standard. All right? We are the gold standard. So basically these are the rules that we have to follow. Now, and the way that I look at it, the way that I saw this whole thing going down, it's the dude feels like he has very, very much the weight of the industry on his shoulders. Like, you can tell the dude's stressed. And for those of you who've never produced anything, it's not an easy job. Now, there's different types of producers. There's line producer, executive producer, regular producer, and so it gets confusing. But basically, for those of you who don't know what a producer does, a producer, the way I look at it, is make things happen. Now, there's types of producers who basically I brought in money, I want a producer title. And it's like, all right, fine, just whatever, we'll give you a producer title. But usually, when you're the hands-on producer, that's not the real title. But what it sounds like Tom Cruise is doing, like the executive producer, he you actually have to, get a lot of, your job is to make things happen. What does that mean? That means, what is the first thing that any movie needs? Anything, any small business, you need money. So you need to get the money. Now, usually when you're Tom Cruise, you just show up and like, hey, I want to make this movie, and people just start throwing money at you. But sometimes it's harder than others. So you need to get the money. Then you need to get the somebody to make it. So you need to find a director. You need to find a story to tell. You need to find a writer. Or you need to buy the rights for a story. And then adapt it. You need to find a star to attach to it to probably try to get more money for it. So sometimes there's a different order. Usually you get the rights to the story and then all that stuff. But there's a different thing. I'm guessing if you're Tom Cruise, rules are different. And then you gotta get an editor, you gotta get a cinematographer, you gotta get the camera equipment, you gotta get the sound equipment, you gotta get the crew, you gotta start planning out how you're gonna shoot, where you're gonna shoot it. Is it gonna be in studios? Is it gonna be on location? If it's on location, are you gonna have to travel? If you're gonna travel, are you gonna rent equipment over there? Are you gonna bring your own equipment? Where is everybody gonna stay? Is it gonna be just going there and back? Or is it gonna be there and coming back? If it's a public location, are you gonna close it out? Are you gonna rent out a space? What are you gonna do? So all these things have to be done. Like if you're doing something outdoors, do you need to bring in gardeners because you need it to have a specific look? Does it have to look kind of old? Does it have to look modern? Does it have to look futuristic? Do you need to bring landscapers? Do you need to bring the art department to have to paint stuff? Do they have to come out and block out streets? You need police officers. You need to do a whole bunch of stuff. All right, it's not easy to make a film. Like I said, it's a complicated job already. Now add to that the coronavirus. So exactly the same questions. Now, what regulations are there? Gardeners, do they have to be tested before they come in? Do they have to wear masks? How far apart how far apart do they have to be? If we can't they be there at the same time that they are? Do you have to bring them in and then days before, will the thing still look the same? What if somebody comes in and vandalizes what we've been working on? Do we have to close it down for more days? Do we need transport? Are we able to transport equipment? Do the drivers have to get tested? Do they have to wear masks? If they're not really in contact with anybody, are we going to be? Do you have to sanitize everything that comes in? Food. How are we going to handle food? Are we bringing our own cooks so that's already been tested? Or are we bringing food from outside? There's a whole bunch of stuff that comes with it. It's already complicated. Add to that COVID. So what's happened here in England is that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the movie was being shot in England, and they are considering actually upping their lockdowns. So they were already high, and I think they're considering going up once again. Tom Cruise, and I'm giving him the credit because he's saying that he did it. Tom Cruise found a way to make them agree to let them shoot a movie. So, dude, this is the beauty of being an A-lister, I guess. You can actually, grease some hands and you have a little bit of pull, and that's the beauty of being a VIP. So I'm guessing that he found a way to make things work. And so he was like, all right, these are the standards that we're following. Dude actually rented out a Norwegian cruise liner so that his crew could stay there and not really mix with the population. They could be safe. So I don't think that he's actually paranoid about COVID. I think that he's using a strategy that I really appreciate. Now, usually when I'm dealing with somebody or with any issue, what I like to do is disarming people. So if you're worried about, let's say, I don't know, what thing are you afraid of? I don't know, mosquitoes. I would make sure that everybody has mosquito repellent. So now you can't use that as an argument against me. If you're worried about your production taking up too much water, you bring in your own water. If you're worried about it sucking up too much juice from the city, you bring your own power generator. So you're disarming people. Any argument that they could use against you, you take it away from them. It's like, oh no, you're going to be spreading the virus. Everybody's been tested. Everybody's wearing masks. So first off, everybody there is already tested, so we know that they don't have it. And even still, they're going to be wearing masks. So you can't take it away from us. So it sounds like he set up standards so that they could not take it away from him. Now, picture this. You got your standards, and the government wants to up the ante, and they're looking to shut things down. And they kind of got you in the crosshairs because if you're the gold standard, if you're the guy who's been pushing the button, and it's, like I said, from what he said, it sounds like he's the guy who did it. If you're the guy who's making it happen, if they shut you down, everybody else goes down because you are the gold standard. You're the best of the best. And so if they shut you down, everybody else is fucked because they'll be like, oh, well, if they couldn't do it, you can't do it either. So it would be a domino effect, and he's trying to avoid it. Like I said, he feels, I don't know if this is true or not, but from the rant, I believe that he feels like the weight of the industry is on his shoulders, and he wants to maintain, and he wants to keep it going. Now, to continue with what I was saying before, So you're disarming them. You keep the regulations, and it sounds like they're trying to, if they're trying to shut things down, they're probably going to try to shut you down. So if a picture comes out of your crew not wearing masks, they'll be like, we have the excuse. Here you go. Proof you're not following your own regulations. It's too much of a risk. It doesn't matter if nobody's gotten sick there. They have the excuse. You don't want to give them an excuse. Like I said, you want to take away all their weapons and you don't want to give them anything. So imagine Tom Cruise. I already told you how difficult it is to make a movie. Imagine adding on top COVID times. Imagine adding on top the weight of the industry, and then you see somebody get a little bit too comfortable and start breaking the rules that are keeping what in your mind is keeping your industry afloat. You would lose your shit too. So to me, it seemed like a perfectly reasonable rant. I hated the fact that somebody took a bit of probably the worst time that you've had on set, because I mean Tom Cruise has been making movies forever. It sounds like he's kind of a diva, but you've never really heard of him being a total asshole for something. I think that I've heard more than enough stories of Tom Cruise like ignoring people or think that he's better than other people or stuff like that. Fine, whatever. If you're an A-lister, you're an A-lister. You're one of the few people that almost everybody in the world probably recognizes in one way or another. It's fine. It's fine. I get it. It goes to your head. It's understandable. But actively cussing out somebody like that on set, I don't think there's many stories of that. So there might be stories of him being a douche, but never actually harassing somebody in this fashion. So to me, it means that he reached the breaking point. And so to me, it's such a dick move. And it's such a pussy move, to quote Sensei Lawrence, it's a pussy move to take those probably his worst 3 minutes ever on set, and just throw it out there for the world to see. That's the type of shit that you keep in-house. You keep it in-house. It's called, you respect your boss. I mean, maybe they don't respect him, maybe they don't give a fuck. But if to me, I would just have a conversation with him afterwards. I would wait for them to apologize. Or if not, you're like, you know what? Fuck it. I did break the rules. It's on me. I'm the one who broke the rules. I knew the rules. I knew that I'm dealing with a crazy person. So actually, I may not have deserved that level, and I'm hoping that at the end he'll probably come to his senses and apologize or whatever, or in a way, I've had to say this so many times in my life. I'm not sorry for what I said, but I'm sorry for the way I said it, because I guess I have let's say I lack a little bit of tact, so I understand it. But to do that is, like I said, a pussy move. And now there's rumors about crew quitting from the set and stuff like that. You know what? Good. Get the fuck out of here. Honestly, I would, if I knew who did it, I would have fired them on the spot. On the spot. If I'm Tom Cruise and I know who the hell did it, fuck you. You don't stab somebody like that in the back. So, especially, I don't know if they gave him a chance to apologize or not, or I don't know if he went crazier, because who knows? Like I said, Tom Cruise is a crazy person, so it's possible that he's gotten worse since. I don't know, but he's definitely gotten worse after after this audio leaked. Because I don't know if you know this about stars, they kind of care a lot about their image. So all of that is honestly, it's terrible. It's bad. But let's go into the grander scale of probably the way that Tom Cruise is viewing this whole thing. So you're Tom Cruise, you feel like you got the weight on the industry on your shoulders. And the reason why I would actually, like I said, I would like to work with somebody like this, or for somebody like this, is because honestly, Tom Cruise has fuck you money. He has fuck you money. He doesn't need to be going out there doing all this stuff. He could have just been chilling in his house for the rest of his life and be like, whatever, I don't give a fuck. But the dude is actually out there, trying to keep his business going and try to keep his employees employed. He's actually out there pushing. It sounds, again, from what he said, from what he's talking with insurance people, talking with other producers, he's actually pushing to keep the industry machine still churning, the wheel still churning, to make sure that it doesn't die. At least that's what I got from what he said. So if you got, from what I understand, or from what I've worked with certain people, I appreciate those types of people. I would appreciate that in a boss, that you're thinking of. No, I mean, if you ever owned a business, usually you feel the weight of your employees on you. He's like, no, I got to make sure that this employee gets enough money. I got to make sure that they keep paying their bills. I got to keep this business going, not just for me, because I'm responsible. That's the thing. You feel responsible for the people below you. You want that you want the server to make sure that they have, like, if you know that they're having issues at home, or like if they're pregnant or whatever, you want them to make sure, you want to make sure that they have a few more shifts, and you talk to another server like, hey, can you maybe like switch a little bit until they have the baby and stuff like that. That's actually happened to me. Not that I was gonna have a baby, but that a coworker of mine was pregnant, and the manager walked up to me. Well, the general manager, she was like, hey, I know this is your usual shift. Do you mind switching it until she delivers the baby, and then we can switch it out? I'm like, sure. You feel responsible for, like, you don't have to care if you're a boss. You don't have to. But the bosses who do care are the good ones. And again, this guy has fuck you money. He doesn't have to be out there doing Mission Impossible 7. He could probably he does have a calendar. It's like, okay, I gotta do Mission Impossible 7 here, and then if that gets delayed, Edge of Tomorrow gets delayed, and if that gets delayed, then the space movie gets delayed. I don't know, I don't remember what the name is. I don't think anybody has the name, but he's gonna go to space. So one thing delays the other, again, domino effect. But if you're Tom Cruise, it doesn't matter. You can afford to lose a few $100 million and still be okay. You'll be fine. As soon as everything returns back to normal, you can just, all right, we'll resume where we'll pick up where we left off. This is not his way of looking at it. He's like, if I stop here, this thing, if we stop shooting this one, it'll fuck up the next one, and that means jobs. All right, like I said, it's not just the actor, it's not just the producer, it's the director, it's not just the director, it's everybody else. It's the art people. It's the people who sell. It's the gardener. Is the driver. Is the people at the grocery store where they buy the food. Is the people at Amazon who sell the lamp that they're gonna use for the art department. It's the electricity that they're paying. It's the fuel that they're using. It's the airplane tickets. It's, I don't know, the ship that they're in out. It's everybody else. Everybody else's job. And then that's just what they're using. You also have to use an accountant, and then afterwards, distribution. Like, it's the movie theater, it's the dude who sells your popcorn, it's the dude who sells the ticket, it's the dude who makes the DVD, it's the dude it's Best Buy who sells the DVD, it's Amazon that sells the DVD, it's everybody. So it's all interconnected, and I think that I appreciate the fact that he's aware of this. Like, he it sounds like he's aware, and it sounds like he's feeling the weight of all of it, and he's still pushing forward. And I perfectly understand you losing your shit if you're feeling the weight of all of it and you're still trying to push forward and you're still trying to make it happen, especially when you don't have to. That's the most important thing here. From what I'm not, like I said, I don't know Tom Cruise personally. I don't know his financial situation, but I'm pretty sure the dude's got money, and he doesn't have to do it, but he's doing it. If this is the guy, if this is the tip of the spear, if this is the first man through the wall and he's taking it in the teeth, good. Respect for him. He's doing it, and the most commendable thing is that he did not have to do it. So, the least you could do, if you're on his set, is follow the fucking rules. All right? I don't care about how you feel about regular stuff like that. If you're taking a job and this is the rule that your boss is giving you, just follow the fucking rules. All right? It's pretty simple. Now, did he overreact? I don't think so, but he probably went about it the wrong way. Honestly, I would have handled, I don't know. Like, in that situation, I don't think I've ever gone off on anybody like that. Because I like to keep things small. And especially on set, I like to keep things private. And I've been in situations where I'm the producer and somebody really fucks up, or there's tension. And to me, the best thing you could do is de-escalate. De-escalate is pivotal. But then again, I am not a crazy person type. I'm a different type of crazy person, but I'm not a Tom Cruise type of crazy person. Dude is intense. Like, there's a video of him giving you a recipe for what is it, spaghetti carbonara or something, and dude is 100% intense on it. This is an intense dude. This is a dude who climbed out of an airplane, like, who climbed the tallest building in the world. Dude's a crazy person. He's an intense person. And again, an actor, emotional person. You need to be an emotional person to be successful in that business. You need to be able to transmit emotions. I'm not a very emotional person. I'm implosive, so I'd rather cool off a little bit and then have a separate conversation to de-escalate and deal with it reasonably. But I've never felt the weight of the world on my fucking soldiers. I never felt the weight of an industry in my shoulders. So I can't say for sure that I would not completely and totally lose my shit over something like this. It's totally possible. It's totally possible. But to me, what he said, what the argument made sense. The justification made sense. And the dick move here is stabbing him in the back when he's employing you. Like, this dude is giving you a job. There's people losing their jobs. He's keeping you employed. The only thing that he's requiring is that you follow his regulations so that they don't shut down the fucking movie and you cost other people their jobs, and you can't even do it. Like I said, I'm 100% on Tommy C's side on this one. I see his side completely, and like hopefully this all gets fixed up, and hopefully it was just that. Because if he keeps getting worse and he starts shanking people, then I'm gonna walk this back so quick. I'm gonna walk it back so fucking quick. But hopefully, like, that was the end of that. Hopefully, you know, the people who left are the sensitive dicks who were not following the rules, who got upset, they got yelled at. You know what? Good riddance. We don't need you. These are hard times. You need hard people. All right? So either step up, get the fuck out. That seems fair. To me, that seems fair. I don't know what you think, but to me, that seems fair. Anyway, that's it for today. Like I said, I wanted to get into the HBO stuff, but I'll save it for tomorrow. And honestly, this kind of helps set up everything else. Hopefully one thing will work into the other, but we'll see. As always, any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and at Super Dario World. Streaming on YouTube and on Twitch at Super Dario World. You can check out this video later on YouTube at Super Dario World. It uploads by itself probably by tomorrow morning. So, as always, thank you for listening, and I'll see you again next time.